Great. Okay, so you got to see where I am right now, where I live. And you're in Alabama, right?
Yes.
So it must be after lunch for you now?
Yes.
After lunch? Okay, I was almost said good morning, but then I thought, wait, we're in different time zones. Well, great. What we could do this morning, if you'd like, is I can go ahead and read you one of my books, Blackberry Banquet. Have you heard that story yet? Did your book come in? No, not yet. Okay, well, why don't I read this book to you first? It's very short, so it's a picture book, so it won't take very long. And then we can have some time to chat, and I can answer any questions you might have or anything like that. Okay? Does that sound like a good plan?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to kind of, excuse me, I'm going to kind of lean out of the picture a little bit because I want to make sure you can actually see the copy of the book. And in fact, I'm going to make my screen a little bigger here. There. Okay. So this book is called, let me lean back. There, now you can see it. This book is called Blackberry Banquet. And I'll tell you a little bit about it when I get done, how the story came about. But it's a picture book. So it's written for kids a little bit younger than you are, but there's some cool stuff at the back of the book that's perfect for kids your age. So let's go ahead and read this. All right, there's the title page. And it's hard to read, but underneath it is my name. It says by Terry Pierce. And then it says illustrated by Lisa Downey. She's the one who did all of the artwork for the book. And she just did a great job, in my opinion. Okay. Let me make sure I can get it here. I'll just kind of hold it on my shoulder and balance it. There we go. In a wee green wood near a stream so blue grows a blackberry bush shining bright with dew. On limbs so full, hanging plump and sweet, are the juiciest berries any critter could eat. Mouse appears, and she reaches high. That munching mouse gives a merry sigh. Squeak! Mm-mm. And if you want to say these animal sounds with me, you can. Bluebird lights, and he eats his fill. That busy, busy bird gives a happy trill. Tweet! Mm-mm. Now we're going to say the mouse again. Squeak! Mm-mm. You want to do those two with me again? Let's do the bird first. Tweet! Mm-mm. Squeak! Mm-mm. Squirrel skips into the brambles thick. That snacking squirrel gives a great big lick. Slurp! Mm-mm. Tweet! Mm-mm. Squeak! Mm-mm. I'll point to the animals, so when I point to them, you can say the sound with me. Fox trots in and takes a tasty nip. That feasting fox gives a joyful yip. Yip! Mm-mm. Slurp! Mm-mm. Tweet! Mm-mm. Squeak! Mm-mm. There's the mouse. He's way over here. So what's your question, Micah?
What made you want to become an author?
Well, for 22 years, I was a teacher. I taught preschoolers and kindergartners in a mixed class, so I had children from 3 to 6 years old, and I did that for 22 years, and I've always loved being around children. I've always loved books and reading, and so I just decided that I wanted to stop teaching full-time and just start working on my writing. As I said, when I was in the 4th grade, that was when I really got turned on to books and reading and writing. And I've always been interested in it, but I was so busy teaching all those years, I didn't have a lot of time for writing. So I stopped. About 10 years ago, I stopped teaching and then started writing. So that's kind of how I got into it. I've just always been around kids and books, and so it was just a natural fit for me to try that. And it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it. Do you write also? Do you like to write stories?
I don't write them much, but I'm interested in books.
Oh, that's great. See, that's how it all started for me. First, I got interested in reading a lot, and then I decided to try writing also. So that's great. You're off to a good start.
Okay, next we have, I'm sorry, he said thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Savannah.
What is your
Hi, Savannah.
Hi. What
What's
is,
your... Go ahead.
what is your favorite book ever?
Oh boy, that's a tough question. That's really hard. I've got so many favorites. I really do. I think probably one of my all-time favorite novels, maybe the number one, would be Charlotte's Web. I just love that story. I loved it as a child. I love it as an adult. I loved reading it to my own son when he was a little bit younger than you, but when he was in first or second grade, I read that story to him. So Charlotte's Web has always been a real favorite. More recent books, I love Because of Winn-Dixie. That was another really great story. Do all of you know Because of Winn-Dixie? Have you heard of that story?
We're reading it.
Oh, are you? Okay, it's such a great story. I love it. I love animal stories too. Anything about animals, I think I really enjoy. And as far as picture books for younger children, I think, gosh, you know, one of my absolute favorite picture books, and I don't know if you'll know this one, but it's got a funny title. It's called Once Upon a Really Cool Motorcycle Dude. Have you ever heard of that picture book? Some of you have. Isn't it a great picture book?
I read that book. It's funny.
I believe
Yeah,
we
it-
have that one.
You do have that one?
I believe we do.
Yeah, it's really funny, and I'm friends with one of the illustrators, so I really like that one. So thank you, Savannah.
Okay, and this is Branson. Branson.
Hey,
Hi, Branson. Ooh, I like your shirt. Baseball, huh? What's your question?
why do you like being an author?
Why do I like being an author? Oh, there are lots of things to like about being an author, but I think the thing that I enjoy most, well, there's two things. Actually, I can't pin it down to one. The two things I enjoy most about being an author is, one, I love to play with words. I think it's so much fun to just sit down and get out my notepad, my paper, because I like to write by hand more than type at a computer. And I just love playing with words. I love listening to how words sound when you put them together, how you arrange them in a sentence, seeing how you can just, you know, experiment and be creative with words. So that's one thing I really enjoy. And the other thing is, since I stopped teaching, I really miss being around children, and so writing lets me still be connected with kids, and because that's always been important to me. So those are the two things I enjoy the most about writing. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and if you're creative and you like to, you know, play with words and write and do things like that, writing's a great way to do it because there are so many different ways you can write. I mean, I always tell students when I go to schools that there are so many different things you can try. You can write poems, you could write songs, you can write like articles about, you know, or nonfiction types of things about animals or, you know, places or things that are interesting to you. Or you can just make things up, you know, just make up stories. So there's all different ways that you can write and enjoy writing. So there's a lot of it to like. Thank you.
Okay, and next is Madison.
Hi, Madison.
Hi.
What a colorful shirt you have on today. Looks like a spring day. What's your question, sweetie?
How long have you been an author?
Well, I've been it's kind of a tricky question. I'm hesitating because I actually started writing and making my own little booklets when I was in the 4th grade. So I've been writing for a long time. And I've always enjoyed writing. Even when I was teaching, I liked writing. I'd make up stories for my students and that kind of thing. But I really got into writing as an adult where I was serious and I wanted to get books published. I've been doing that for about 10 years now. So I wasn't young when I started out, you know, trying to get my books published. I was, I don't know, probably in my early 40s, I guess, is how old I was. So it's never too late to try something new.
Right.
Thank you. Did that answer your question? Okay, thank you.
And this is Abby.
Hi, Abby. Oh, another colorful shirt. Oh, I like that. I like your message on it.
Thank you.
What would you like to ask?
What are your favorite hobbies?
Ooh, what are my favorite hobbies? Well, I'd say my first, which sounds kind of funny because it's also my job, but I love writing. Even if I'm writing just not something that I plan to get published, but just playing around, I like to write. I love reading. Those are kind of my quiet activities. Quiet hobbies is writing and reading. As far as more active physical things, I love mountain biking. That's what I like to do when I want to go do something really physical, is I get on my mountain bike, because where I live out in the desert, there are a lot of hills and great dirt roads and places where I can go ride my bike. And I like doing that because I can think about my writing while I'm doing that. And I also like hiking. My family, we live near the Sierra Nevada mountains, and so in about an hour's drive, we can be way up, up at 10,000 feet elevation and hiking in the beautiful Sierras. So those are my two favorite active things I like to do in my spare time. Oh, and I also spend a lot of my spare time petting my cats. I have 2 cats that love attention, so that's my other thing I do a lot.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And this is Laurel.
Hi.
Hi, Laurel. How are you today?
Good.
Good.
What is your favorite children's book that you have written?
Well, that's tough because I always tell kids it's kind of like if somebody asked your parents, who's your favorite child? Because you don't really have one. You love them all for all different kinds of reasons. And that's true with my books. Blackberry Banquet, the one I just read to you, that story is really special to me because I got the idea for that story when I was out berry picking with my son one time. And it's kind of funny. We were walking up to our favorite berry bush. And as we were approaching, we were being really quiet. We're walking along in the forest. It's really quiet. And we stepped on a twig, and it popped really loud. And right when it did, all of these animals just went fleeing out from the berry bush. I mean, just scattering everywhere. There were squirrels and birds and mice. And it was just, and I thought, wow, a lot of animals like to eat these berries. We're not the only ones. And so I started thinking that it would be a fun idea for a story about animals coming to a berry bush and eating, and what would happen if some bigger animal came up and startled everyone. So that's how I got that story. So that story is special because it's a very personal story for me and something that involved my son. Another favorite book I have is I've got an easy reader called Taekwondo. And that story was, I wrote that after my son and I had been taking Taekwondo classes together. And we both had gotten our black belts. And so I thought, gosh, this would be really a cool idea to write a book about Taekwondo, a book for kids who are learning to read. And then I have another book about Hawaii that I wrote after hiking the lava fields of Kilauea and seeing the lava flowing down the hillside. And so that inspired me to write a story. So they've all got very special places in my heart. So I don't really have any one favorite. I love them all.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.